NBA draft is on Thursday. So we brought our man, the Almanac, here. We're going to give him a call and talk to him real quick about the NBA draft coming up here. So hang on with us here on Trash Talk Radio. Back again on Trash Talk Radio, ready to talk some NBA draft with our man, the Almanac, from the campus check-in. Been a while, Almanac. Welcome back, man.
Hey, how y'all guys doing, man? It has been a little while. Good to be back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, as always. Every time you want to get news, when it comes down to the collegiate aspect of things, you got to go to the mecca of collegiate sports, especially collegiate sports. That is the South. And we got our man straight from North Carolina, North Kakalaki, the Almanac.
We could talk about the South being the mecca of college sports, and North Carolina is definitely like the hotbed of basketball down there too. He's in the middle of it. He's got his eye on everything.
I think number one he went to school in North Carolina, from what I remember, man.
So we are bringing him in to talk about the NBA draft, which gets underway this week. Almanac, let's just start at the top. Not a particularly good draft class this year.
Nah, man, I think this has the potential to be one of the weakest drafts in recent memory. I mean, of course, you got Zion, and we got a strong top three, but outside of that top three, it's pretty much pick and choose. You got to go with what fits the team, what system you playing. I guess you'll probably pick for based on fit as opposed to based on talent, because honestly, outside of the top three, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. I couldn't really tell you the rest of these guys how they're gonna pan out, but you never know. You always have your surprises here and there, though. So we'll see. Right,
we were talking about the man earlier, Kawhi Leonard, not even a lottery pick, all the way down at 15. So at the bottom of the draft can always find a few gems. So let's talk about those top spots. Obviously, Zion Williamson goes number one here. This is the best prospect anybody's seen in a while, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's a lot. He's a no-brainer at number one, not just from what he brings on the basketball court, but also what he brings as opposed to the seats. He's going to sell out.
He brings butts.
Absolutely. Even if a team didn't like Zion with the number one pick, I think their owner would force them to take Zion with the number one pick just because what he brings from a business aspect.
Absolutely, man. This is because we all know that's a football country, man. When you talk about that is from LSU Bayou. That is the Saints. That is all about football. So if you have a guy like Zion, that's a guy that moved the needle. That could actually, like you said, bring seats to the table. And New Orleans is, known as having one of the lowest people to actually come watch the game as it being a football area.
Yeah, not a good attendance in basketball, but, we saw the video we saw on lottery night of the Pelicans celebrating was not the players, it was not the coaches, although Gentry swore because he was excited. But not the players, not the coaches. We saw the ticket office explode into a frenzy.
Yeah.
That was the video that went viral because every single one in that room was making an extra $10,000 next season because of Zion Williamson. So we know this kid is a needle mover in just about every way, which is, at the beginning of last season, he wasn't the consensus number one. He earned this during the season. We saw this build, which gets us to the number 2 and 3 pick, who are kind of goes back and forth here, man. Almanac, who do you like at number 2?
I like Ja Morant. I think Memphis is going to go with Ja Morant, the point guard from Murray State, because they have, Mike Conley. He getting a little older in the tooth. He's in his 30s now. He's breaking down, and I think it's time to restart things in Memphis. They already started by getting rid of a lot of their older players.
You're the number 2 pick. You better have already started.
Absolutely. So, yeah, they're moving on from Conley. Like, they got rid of Gasol last year. They got rid of Zebo the year before that. So, their first round draft pick last year, Jaren Jackson, he had a great rookie season, and I think he came in 3rd for the rookie of the year this year. And him and Ja Morant, they'll make a nice little big small tandem. Hopefully can be the cornerstone of that franchise for years to come.
The Almanac always loved Ja Morant. He's been talking about Ja Morant as we have him for numerous times. That's your boy right there.
Absolutely, man.
I love him, man. I do.
It was Almanac was where I first heard the name as we were talking. It was actually early in the season too, when he started saying, "You got to watch this kid from Murray State. He's climbing up the board," which I guess means number 3 is the guy who was the consensus number 1 at the start of last year's season, right?
Yeah, R.J. Barrett. And actually, I think he's kind of thrilled. Going to be going to the New York Knicks, that big market. All eyes will be on him. Like you said, coming into the season, all the hype was around R.J. Barrett. He had been dominating on the, on the world tour, playing for Team Canada. He had a stellar high school career, but, he got to Duke and Zion just overshadowed him and kind of took over. But R.J. Barrett still, he's a nice 6'7", 6'8" forward / true guard. I like his game. He had to get better with the handle and, take better shot selection because sometimes he turns into a ball hawk, shoot a whole lot. But I think he'll love dropping to that 3rd spot to fall into the New York Knicks, and I think he's going to be their draft pick for the Knicks at number 3.
I definitely think R.J. Barrett is automatic buckets. I think he's going to be able to score in the NBA style, especially the way the game is played right now in the open floor. I just feel like he's an 18 to 23 to 24 point scorer career-wise, man. I just think he will be able to get buckets.
I'll tell you what,
I agree with that.
He looked good in the combine too, man. That guy was putting on a show in the combine.
Yeah.
His were the highlights I saw. I thought, all right, he's reasserting himself, getting ready for this draft up here. All right, so that takes us not only back to New Orleans, but now we're in the weeds, right? From here on out, it really could go in any direction. There's not even a consensus number 4. So I guess who do you got at number 4 to going back to New Orleans, or at least at number 4? Who's best player on the board at that point?
Well, this kid Darius Garland out of Vanderbilt, he's been picking up steam lately. I've been kind of keeping up with the draft shows and looking on Bleacher Report and Athletic and ESPN and things like that. And this guy, he's moving up with a bullet, man. So I think he's going to be the number 4 pick for the New Orleans Hornets. But I think that they're also the Lakers, when they made that trade, that kind of shook up the whole draft. So now New Orleans has the number 4 pick, and some talk of them trying to trade back in the draft, maybe trading with Atlanta for their 8 and number 10 pick. But if they stay at 4, even though they have Lonzo Ball now, I still think they take the Darius Garland kid out of Vanderbilt. He was a 5-star. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I'm sorry. I like Garland's. I think he had wasn't he hurt for most of the year or something?
He only played 5. He only played 5 games.
He got that Kyrie Irving. He kind of have that Kyrie Irving similarity because Kyrie only played about 8 or 9 games at Duke before he got hurt. So there's a lot of things I hear.
Joel Embiid position too. We were talking about that off air. It's that same sort of move, man. If he's best man on the board, you take him, right?
And honestly, I don't even know with LeVar Ball and the ball situation, the ball dash-ins.
Right.
So I'm not sure this is going to be a long-term situation with Lonzo. This is a good emergency insurance plan, I think. And I think that's one of the main reasons it's getting steam too. And really in basketball in the draft, after 2 or 3 picks, it's like, you know.
Well, we talked about this. I don't think New Orleans is done moving these assets that they've got from Los Angeles. These things are going to flip around anyway from here. So who knows where they could go and who knows with this. So, all right. So we got Darius Garland at 4. Who do you got at 5 then?
Some European.
Right? It's about time for a foreign player, isn't it?
No, at 5, I'll tell you. So, okay, are we going with I would do or what I think is going to happen?
Best player on board at 5, and then you can tell me who you think the pick is going to go to, because the pick is Cleveland.
Yeah, I think Cleveland's going to take DeAndre Hunter, the small forward / power forward. He can play either or. The forward out of UVA.
Stretch 4.
Yeah,
he had stretch 4. He had a great defender. Can hit the 3. So he fits the mold of the typical 3-and-D player in the NBA. I don't think he has a whole lot of upside. Like as far as he's going to be a perennial, all-star, but I think he's a nice, safe pick. I think he'll be a good starter for a team, and I think he can get you, anywhere between 12 to 17 points, maybe 5-6 rebounds, and play good, solid defense and hit his threes. So I think he's a safe pick. I don't think he has a like star potential, but I think he has, like low bust potential. So I think
he's a glue guy. He's one of those guys that you need, like those guys that can make those shots, like you mentioned, when it's superstars they double team last second, boom, that could make those.
Right.
Okay, I like that. You need those guys to win championship.
Yeah, and I like him because he plays defense.
Top five, you want, when you draft in the top five, you want more than a glue guy.
That's true. At that level, you usually do. I like him. I got to tell you though, I like him for his defense. I think he's an average to adequate, offensive player at this point. Could learn,
right?
But an adequate sort of offensive player. But I think on the defensive side, he could probably make a difference. He's one of those guys that you can teach to shoot the threes. That he'll start to pick that up and get it into shooting. But if he's already defended, man, that's where Kawhi starts, is on his defense and works his way through. It's where Robert Covington from the Sixers, same deal. Works on the defense, works on other things. I love a defender. You gotta
put them in. You still find a way to put them in.
Undrafted.
His streak, 82 straight episodes. We haven't gone one episode without one.
You're goddamn right. All right, so that takes us to the top 5, and I guess from here on out, is there any other major notes that you want to make here? Team's going to take a guys moving up. What are you thinking here going out, or do we just start to get into the generalizations?
All right, okay. So this is here. I got one. This is my favorite fit for a player, and he's my favorite player because he went to my school, Carolina. And Phoenix Suns need a point guard. They got a lot of young talent right now. They need a point guard. So I think Kobe White will fit perfect out there in Phoenix, let them young kids run up and down the floor and just learn, how to play off each other. And they're not going to probably make the playoffs or anything like that. But as far as fit and upside, I love Kobe White game. He's 6'5". He probably was the fastest player in college last year. He could get buckets. He averaged 16 points a game with us, but I think he could have averaged more. Say if he was on the Sawyer team where it didn't have as much talent as Carolina, I think Kobe White could have even showed more of his game. And I think he'll, how some guys, they're kind of contained in college, but when you get them in the NBA, you let them loose, then you see all their potential, like the Russell Westbrooks and guys like that. I think Kobe White is going to be one of those guys. I think we see the best of him in the NBA.
I love the Guru's giving me shit about always working in a Sixers reference, and then bang, you're right there with the Tar Heels. Well done, Almanac.
That's what
right
I really, honestly, I really do.
I know, but you got him ahead of Culver.
Yeah, I like Kobe White better than Kobe. I really do.
All right. So then let's talk about some of the finds here deeper. I wanna talk first of all. What teams do you think are going to move? Do you think New Orleans holds on to that pick at 4? What's going to be our move here? What team is going to reach up to get somebody?
New Orleans, they're trying to do a lot. I've been seeing they're trying to trade for Bradley Beal. I don't know. I'm sure Washington want their 4th pick, but they're going to have to include some more players to make the money work because Bradley Beal makes over $20 million. So you can't just trade him flat out for a draft pick. So, and then like I said earlier, I saw
flip him some of them Laker assets.
Yeah, exactly. Some of those Laker assets. So I think Bradley Beal will be a great fit out there, in New Orleans with Zion and the young kids they got from the Lakers. But so I think New Orleans may make a move. I think Atlanta, they're trying to make a move. They got the 8th and the 10th pick in this draft, and they've been trying to package those 2 picks to move up inside the top 4, is what I've been seeing. So I don't know if anybody in the top 4 is going to bite and accept that trade. But as far as teams that's really trying to move around, I know Atlanta is, and I think New Orleans is interested in turning that number 4 pick into a proven player. So those are the 2 teams.
That Atlanta team is coming, man. That is one to watch for. They are a pretty good team, and they got a lot of picks coming.
They kind of remind me of the Sacramento of the East.
A little bit, yeah. You know what? That's true.
Yeah, I was hoping for them to get the Zion draft pick, honestly, because I would have loved to see Zion and Trae Young
with Trae Young. Yeah, that's a combo I want to see. You know what though? I'll tell you what. We said this earlier. Zion and Lonzo Ball isn't a bad combo either. That's got some real potential right there. So that
absolutely,
that could be something. All right. So Almanac, before we let you go, I want to ask you a couple more things. Who is the diamond in the rough in this draft? Who is the guy that we're going to see get picked, not in the lottery, someone a little bit deeper or deep in the lottery, 10 and on? The Steph Curry went deep. Kawhi Leonard went 15. Who are we looking at in here that you think has the potential to grow into that perennial all-star, max contract guy?
I got a couple guys. All right, so I think Romeo Langford, he went to Indiana. This kid had a lot of hype coming into college this year. It didn't pan out with Indiana. I think he was a top 5, recruit coming in. He's a shooting guard, about 6'5". He can fill it up. He can get buckets. He's not great on the defensive end, but I think he may be another one of those guys. He may have just didn't fit well in Indiana. And, once you get in the NBA, the floor is more wide open, a longer season, longer game, more up and down. I think Romeo Langford may have a better NBA career than NCAA. And another guy that I like.
Langford, he's got the stat that I like. He's a guy that's like 6'5", 6'6", but he's got the 6'11" wingspan. And I love that. That's the stat that I love, because you can teach that guy to be a defender, and he's got the sense of the defense anyway. But if you teach him to actually defend, this is a guy that's got the arm length that he could make a difference. So this is a good pick. I like this one, Almanac. Who else you got?
All right, and another guy. I'm not saying this guy is going to be a perennial all-star, but I say the way the NBA is now, spacing, shooting, and defense and rebounding. I like Cam Johnson from North Carolina. Again, I've seen every game this year. This kid he shot 45% from the 3. So he's a knockdown 3 shooter. He's a great rebounder. He got over 7 rebounds per game. And like I said, the NBA now is all about shooting, man. You look at Golden State, look at Toronto, you look at all the teams that shoot the 3 well in the NBA. You pretty much see them deep in the playoffs. Houston Rockets, another one. Denver Nuggets, another one. All those teams were top 10 3-point shooting teams in NBA this year. And Cam Johnson, he probably, if not, he wasn't the best shooter in college last year. He was top 3. And I think his game will translate well to the next level with being 6'8", a solid defender, solid rebounder, and a knockdown 3-point shooter. I think he'll fit well. He'll go probably in the 20s. I can see him fitting perfect on a team like the Spurs or a team like Golden State.
This is a guy that fits perfect in Philly. This is a guy that I love.
He will fit.
I love for Philly at 24.
With Philly, the Los Angeles Lakers desperately need shooting. He will fit beautifully with the Lakers. But like I said, like your guys in Philadelphia, he will be a great fit with you guys.
Yeah, man.
I don't know why you guys let the kid from Villanova go last year. You traded him for a guy that rode the pine all year. Out of Texas Tech. I can't think of his name.
Did we trade him, though? Did we also package him in a deal and send him off somewhere, too? Oh, no, Zaire. We got Zaire Smith with him.
Zaire Smith.
He was injured. He was out for the year because he had an allergy to a sesame seed and had to have his chest cut open. So he was recovering through all of the year. I still have hope for Zaire Smith. We'll see how he does when he gets a season under his belt. But I like this at 24. He's one of the guys that I like as a potential Sixer pick up there, because we need shooting, and he's the best shooter in the draft.
Absolutely, he's a knockdown shooter.
All right, so now do the other side of this, Almanac. Before we let you go, talk to me about who's a bust. Who in this one do you see as a potential bust? One of those guys, not necessarily on the Markelle Fultz level, but the guy who's going to get picked high and who's going to fall out.
Let me think about this. Okay, I don't want to be dead wrong about it, but I would go probably with Cam Reddish.
Reddish.
He always, I know
Hates
it's going to be a dookie.
Had to be a dookie.
And he's been hitting about Cam Reddish. I have to say this before you even start your soliloquy, just to let the people know that. He's been talking about Cam Reddish throughout this season. He don't like Cam Reddish. So I am not surprised it's a Cam Reddish. But continue now.
Well, I mean, they got him projected to go top 5. And my thing is this, man. You playing with all that offensive talent. All you got to do is knock down your shots. So you're getting wide open shots, because teams are focus on Zion, focus on RJ. And I thought he had a terrible year this year playing with the talent level that he played with. I thought it should have been easy for him to, have an efficient offensive year, and he just didn't do that. And, hopefully I'm wrong. I hope the kid does have a good NBA career. But if you're asking me to pick out of the top 5, which one of those guys who I think has the biggest bust potential, it's probably I'm going to have to go with RJ. With Cam Reddish.
I agree with his play when Zion was out there, but Cam was one of those guys that when Zion blew the shoe, Cam's game stepped up during that stretch, and maybe he was just shadowed, which is not really what you want in the NBA unless you're the Lakers, and then that's a great pick for them because you gotta have a guy that's used to being shadowed. But I don't know. I think that's a great pick for the potential bust here. We certainly knew it wasn't going to be Nasir Little anyway as your pick.
Well, no, I would have said him, but they projected him to go like 15, 16. So, if he was projected to go top 5 or top 10, I absolutely would have said Nasir Little because basically the same thing I'm saying about Cam Reddish that I could say about Nasir Little. He had a terrible year for us this year. I ain't gonna say terrible.
He got better. He had a better second half of the year, but I think his game translates more to the NBA than it did in college.
Course.
And that's how you can know you can trust his draft analysis, even putting down his own guys at the Tar Heels. Almanac, thank you as always for joining us here on Trash Talk Radio. We're going to have Almanac back as we get further into the college season start up to talk college football and then again, of course, college basketball with our campus check-in. Almanac, always great to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, man. Y'all have a good night.
All right, thanks once again to the Almanac for joining us here. As always, love having him here to talk to college sports. Knew he'd pick a dookie to slam on at the end there, though.
Absolutely. Just like at the Almanac. Always got to make some passive-aggressive shots, man.
Tar Heel fan to the end. Did take the shot there, though. So, all right, thanks. Of course, we're going to have him back later as the college season gets started here in the campus check-in, as always, on Trash Talk Radio. All right, Guru, we got a couple more things to get here. We got one more topic that I want to get to on this, and this is before we get to the 2-minute drill. But before we start any of that, you know what time it is.
That plug.